With the name of Allah, who is the most magnificent, most merciful, possessor, proprietor, whose blessings are uncountable, whose being is eternal, whose mercy is unlimited, and whose provisions are unending. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I, Rabia Zara, feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all of you on second day of third International Conference on Applied Zoology 2020, organized by the Applied Zoological Society of Pakistan in collaboration with Quaid-e-Azam University, Islamabad. Welcome to all the international and national speakers, researchers, faculty members, and students. We are highly grateful to all of you for joining us. Let's formally begin our program. We start our proceedings with the holy and everlasting name of Allah. For the recitation of Holy Quran, I would like to invite Ms. Hafiza Sana, BS Zoology 5th semester and member of Manzoorul Quran Qiraat and Nas Society, Government College University, Faisalabad. Please, Ms. Hafiza Sana, join us to enlighten our hearts with holy verses of Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام صدق الله العظيم
Subhanallah, mashallah. Thank you very much, Hafiza Sana, for recitation of holy verses of Quran. My Lord, grant me the power and ability that I may be grateful for your favor which you have bestowed upon me and upon my parents. And I do the righteous deed such as please you. Truly, I have turned to you in repentance, and truly, I am one of the Muslims submitting to your will. O my Allah, accept this, please. जिक्र खुदा करे जिक्र मुस्तफ़ा ना करे हमारे मुंह में हो ऐसी जुबान खुदा ना करे Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the scorer of the humanity, the gem of mankind, the unparalleled, the unrivaled, the infallible, the teacher of teachers who changed the whole the world and made us better creature. To give a tribute to our holy prophet Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I would like to call Rida Farooq from Department of English and also member of Manzoorul Quran Kiratan Nath Society, Government College University, Faisalabad. Jazakillah.
शगेला लाख हो महबूब रब्बे दो जहाँ तुम हो शगेला लाख हो महबूब रब्बे दो खुदा है मेहरबान उस पर के जिस पर मेहरबान तुम हो खुदा है मेहरबान उस पर के जिस पर मेहरबान तुम हो तख़य्युल की रसाई हो नहीं सकती जहाँ तुम हो तख़य्युल की रसाई हो नहीं सकती जहाँ तुम हो जहाँ जलते हैं पर जिब्रील के आका वहाँ तुम हो जहाँ जलते हैं पर जिब्रील के आका वहाँ तुम हो तुम्हें अल्लाह ने किस प्यार से कुरान में फरमाया तुम्हें अल्लाह ने किस प्यार से कुरान में फरमाया कहीं आसी कहीं ताहा कहीं हक़ की ज़बां तुम हो कहीं आसी कहीं ताहा कहीं हक़ की ज़बां तुम हो शहीला लाख हो महबूब रब्बे दो जहाँ तुम हो खुदा है मेहरबान उस पर के जिस पर मेहरबान
Thank you very much, Srida Farooq, for Naate Rasool Maqbool Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And here will be our plenary session. Rabia Zara will be the moderator of this session, and this session includes the talks of our keynote speakers. Stay tuned with us. Happy learning. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we will start our scientific program of second day of 3rd International Conference on Applied Zoology 2020. Due to time constraints, we will be unable to take question answer from our audience during our live sessions. So it is requested, if you have any queries regarding any oral presentation, you can write us in comment section. We will communicate with our oral presenters through email. Thank you for your cooperation. Now I am honored to invite our first keynote speaker, Dr. Ilknur Uçak, Faculty of Agriculture Sciences and Technologies, Nede Ömer Halisimir University, Turkey. And she will talk about bioactive compounds from marine sources and health benefits. Please, Dr. Ilknur, join us and grace this conference.
Hello, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee for giving this nice opportunity to me for sharing my talk with you. My name is Dr. Ilknur Uçak from Nide Ömer Halisimir University, Faculty of Agricultural Sciences and Technologies, and Department of the Animal Production Technologies. In my presentation, I'm going to share some information with you about bioactive compounds from marine sources and their health benefits. Marine area is the mother of our life, as we all know, and the source of unique natural products. As we know, the regular consumption of seafood is associated with beneficial health effects. Recently, natural bioactive compounds have gained great attention, including those obtained from marine organisms. What is bioactive compound? Bioactive compounds are extra nutritional elements in foods which are naturally present in relatively little quantities. The term bioactive is composed from two words. One is bio and other is active. Bio in the Greek, it comes from Greek, refers to life, and active from Latin, activus, refers to dynamic, full of energy, with energy, or involves an activity. A bioactive compound can simply be referred to as a substance that has a biological activity. Marine bioactive compounds can be obtained from various sources. Let's see the sources of marine bioactive compounds. Fungi, seaweeds, as algae, macro and microalgae, sponges, bacteria, and invertebrates. What are these bioactive compounds from marine sources? These are composed from proteins, peptides, and amino acids, lipids and fatty acids, carbohydrates and dietary fiber, antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. Let's talk about the specificity of proteins, peptides, and amino acids. Marine organisms are rich with proteins since they contain the necessary essential amino acids. So we can consider them as a perfect source of proteins, peptides, and essential amino acids, lipid and fatty acids. Under lipid title, we can talk about PUFAs, like polyunsaturated fatty acids, and sterols. What are these polyunsaturated fatty acids? Polyunsaturated fatty acids are groups which cannot be synthesized in the human body and which should be obtained from outside, from other sources. Eicosapentaenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acids are one of the important sources of the types of polyunsaturated fatty acids. And also sterols. Why sterols are important? Sterols help to decrease the LDL cholesterol, means low density lipoprotein cholesterol. That's why they are an important group. Carbohydrates and dietary fiber. The types of carbohydrates and dietary fiber are polysaccharides and oligosaccharides. They can be obtained from seaweeds, such as red algae, green algae, brown algae. Antioxidants, one of the most important group. In the antioxidants group, we can discuss phenolic compounds and phytosynthetic pigments. Especially nowadays, fish protein hydrolysates are used to one of the most important antioxidant group in the industry. Of vitamins and minerals. Minerals. In the minerals title, we can discuss the seaweeds. The seaweeds are also very rich in essential minerals and trace elements. Let's talk about the health benefits of marine bioactive compounds. Seafood has an essential role in the human diet, and it's not only a reliable source of protein, but it also has a nutritional impact due to its lipid, vitamin, and mineral constituents. Additionally, seafood proteins are highly digestible and easily absorbed by the body. Especially lysine and methionine are two of the most important essential amino acids in marine organisms. The health benefits are included like anti-cardiovascular, anti-inflammatory, anti-tumor, anti-allergic, antimicrobial, antioxidant, anti-obesity, etc. We can extend these titles. Yes. What about the usage of marine bioactive compounds in the industry? The industrial usage of bioactive compounds cannot be limited under just 3 titles, but we can make a generation. We can generate the usage of marine bioactive compounds in the industry as nutraceuticals, in the drug industry, and the cosmetic industry, functional food ingredients in the food industry. Yes, to conclude our topic, we can say marine organisms constitute nearly half of the worldwide biodiversity, and marine bioactive compounds are highly promising reserve of novel compounds. And these compounds can be used in many industries like functional food ingredients in the food industry, and as nutraceuticals, as we discussed in our previous slides, as nutraceuticals in the drug industry. I would like to thank you for attention, and I also again would like to thank the organizing committee for giving this kind opportunity to me as an invited speaker. Wish you a nice day, and thanks a lot for your listening my presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Ilkanur, for your valuable insights. Now, I am delightful to invite our second keynote speaker, Dr. Najib Altawel, Department of Chemical and Environmental Engineering, University of Nottingham, UK. And he will talk about the usage of energy crops and environmental impacts. Please, Dr. Najib, join us to share your constructive intuitions.
Good afternoon. My name is Najib Altawel. I am from Coventry University. I'm specialized actually in environmental engineering when it comes, for example, sustainable energy in that form, and climate change and global warming. And the focus, obviously, I did a number of research is related to energy crop. Okay, energy crop as a form of sustainable energy. And we're going to look actually at a few parts how this energy crop may have impact actually in the environment, which is a negative side about it, and also it has the positive side on when it comes, for example, minimizing climate change and global warming, as well as providing a national security for any country may use energy crop for that matter. So the use and the production of energy crop, we may look at that and examine it within this 10-minute presentation. Obviously, the energy crop back in historical time been used for 7,000 years before the best Christ. We're talking about wheat, corn, barley, and so on. So human, actually, they know quite a lot about when it comes to the production, plantation, farming, and so on for energy crops. So this doesn't need actually to go back in detail for that. So we have a huge amount of knowledge about these crops. Having said that, obviously, we're talking about selection process for these energy crop. We need to select the most energy contained in these energy crop, and it's a huge task actually to try to select some of these energy crop in order as a form of fuel actually to replace the present fossil fuel. The best way actually to do that, obviously, we're talking about the thickness of the wall of these crops. And these some of the tests which I have done a few years ago. We're talking about here sunflower striped seed and sunflower black seed, date seed, corn, rapeseed, and so on. And you can see measured in micron. So we're talking about 240 to 290, for example, for sunflower striped seed, and go down actually in the thickness. In fact, in the research came for rapeseed came at the top because there are many other factors, not just the energy factor, when it comes to the selection of energy crop. Sunflower seed came second to that. There are two, obviously, when it comes to crops and oil sources. Obviously, we have major oil and minor oil, and these major oil and minor oil, the way we try to obtain the energy crop from the energy crop, the fuel we needed. So we have soybean, rapeseed, mustard, sunflower, and so on for that, coconut, cottonseed, and so on. These are major oil being represented, and then we have the minor one we're talking about here, such as rice bran, tobacco seed, Niger seed, tea seed, and so on. Niger seed came actually third in my research when it comes to energy crop. And the amount of energy, but obviously Niger seed being used on a smaller scale and mostly produced as a feed for birds and that. So it's not planted around the world on a larger scale compare, for example, sunflower seed or Niger seed. There are a certain standard we need to be looked at when it comes to energy crop of that. And these standard, obviously, we're talking about the energy content, the most important part, ignition, how quickly actually within the combustion engine that these fuel we're talking about to be considered, or we call it a flashpoint, viscosity, a carbon residue, a sulfur content, and CT number and iodine number. These should be taken into consideration, and most of these actually, these factors actually checked actually in the laboratory. Another factor actually should be considered for energy crop. Obviously, we're talking about photosynthesis. Not any plant actually can be used, but when we're looking at photosynthesis, we're talking about the area which a plantation can survive better, have a better chance of survival when there are maybe shortage of water or a drastic change in temperature. And these we have three different types here: C3, C4, and CIM for that. So the photosynthesis we're talking about here, the best one came out obviously C4, which can survive in arid condition, and the most common plant actually they under this title C4, they make better use of water and energy. We have C3, obviously C3, say name C3. Each one of them named for the amount of carbon actually incorporated into the plant. So C3, for example, as a CO2 incorporated into 3 carbon compounds. So the plant actually absorbs carbon dioxide to make sugar or starch in the plant, and also in the breathing process release actually the 1 unit carbon. So this one, the first one, the C3, it may need a moist or cool environment for survival. The other one, obviously, the C4, much better can survive for that. And the final one we're talking about, which is the CIM, is slightly different. It's before photosynthesis, the CO2 is stored in the form of an acid for that. But it's very similar. CIM similar to CO4 when it comes to surviving in a harsher environment. So energy crop and environmental impact, obviously the environmental impact is huge actually when it comes specializing in energy crop as a source of energy. Land, you need a huge amount of land. Maybe not every country has a huge land for energy crop, and this many countries actually they lease certain land in Africa, for example, on 20, 30, 50 years as happening at the present time. Specifically to plant energy crop as a source of energy. Obviously, it has an impact for that if these land been taken purely for farming, for the purpose of farming energy crop, it may affect the biodiversity in that particular area. It may also have impact on the food production for the local community, for example, and obviously the local community, if that particular area land stop producing sources of food, they may have to import it from a farther away area, i.e. using fossil fuel to transport that crop to that local community, or they may have to import it from outside the country. Obviously, water and import as well, a huge amount of water will be needed, and the supply of water, obviously, depending on the geographical location or depending on the rain in that particular area for that. That should be also taken into consideration. Deforestation is one of the worst impact actually when it comes to the usage of energy crop. South America, for example, large part of the rainforest being removed actually for the purpose of farming actually. And that obviously it accelerates climate change or global warming in this respect. And that should be, again, be considered carefully for that. Other area, obviously, we're talking about the competition between food, as I mentioned earlier on. But this should only happen on a large commercial scale. The idea that when you use 1 hectare of land, obviously, such as we're talking about rapeseed in itself, it absorbs certain amount of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. When you burn that, you release that carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, and then you plant it again to absorb that amount. So we're talking about zero carbon dioxide emission for that. Over a long period of time, as I said, the photosynthesis is help actually to minimize carbon dioxide from the atmosphere as it absorbs 3 units and release 1 unit in the breathing process. So these considerations should be taken when you plan actually on a large scale to use energy crop as a source of energy. And that's what I mentioned earlier on. Energy crop as a fuel may help actually stabilizing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. And obviously carbon dioxide is one of the main causes of climate change and global warming, in addition to other greenhouse gases such as methane, nitrogen oxide, and so on. Sustainable energy, it is sustainable energy. We're talking about energy crop. It will never run out, and part of the national security actually, which can be used. So you don't have to depend on other countries to obtain your energy. You could farm actually, using grass, for example, and so on, certain type, which not compete actually with food, such as miscanthus, for example. So there's no competition with food, rather than using other type. The difference between using energy crops such as, for example, we're talking about sunflower seed or rapeseed or whatever, or wheat or barley, that will compete with the food sources. While obviously when you're using grass, for example, certain type of grass such as miscanthus is not source of food in itself, and also it can reproduce itself very easily and can last for 20, 30, 40 years, actually, the life cycle of the plant, and can absorb actually a large amount of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. The only difference is miscanthus, for example, it doesn't have the same amount of energy as those, for example, sunflower seed or Niger seed and so on. So that also should be taken into consideration. Just to conclude this, balance should be made between energy crop and versus the demand for food in itself. And that's an important, actually, especially when it comes for underdeveloping country, that should be taken into consideration. That should not have impact on the food resources. They don't have to import it. They should produce it their own, and also the impact on the community and the biodiversity in itself. Each issue connected to the environment, that's an important, obviously. The natural environment should be protected in various ways. When you decided to implant actually a certain area with energy crop, that should not have a drastic impact on the ecosystem itself, i.e. biodiversity and so on, and also the local community in itself, and should not compete actually with the food sources. Sustainable energy, climate change, and energy crop. Energy crop is important actually as a form of minimizing the impact on the climate by absorbing a percentage of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere rather than compare with the fossil fuel. And also, so sustainable energy, it means will never run out compared with the fossil fuel, which will run out in the future. Well, thank you for your attention. Goodbye.
Thank you, Dr. Najib, for such an informative talk. Now, I would like to invite our third keynote speaker, Dr. Mckees, Department of Earth and Environmental Sciences, University of Milano Bicocca, Italy, and she will talk about the benefits of artificial intelligence Iran case study. Please, Dr. Fatima, join us and share your remarkable research.
Good morning, dear colleagues. Before starting my communication, I would like to thank all organizers of this conference for their great job from the Pakistan-AZSP University. I'm Dr. Kies Fatima, an Italian researcher in marine sciences. Our communication is on the benefits of artificial intelligence, recognized as AI. Our case study was on Iran. This research was done in collaboration with our colleagues, Dr. Abdul Munaim Fakhri Kamal Mohammed from the Egyptian University, Professor Patricio de los Rios Escalante from the Chilean University, and our colleagues from the Iranian University, Professor Mohammed Jalil Zuhair Zahra. Aquaculture is a 1,000-year-old activity that has developed slowly by drawing on traditional knowledge or achievement made thanks to farmers' curiosity, dates, positive experiences and mistakes, or through cooperation. As a result, aquaculture has expanded over the centuries and integrated with the natural, social, economic, and cultural environments. Major developments in aquaculture have benefited from scientific advances now and in the future. The result is that unprecedented growth has been achieved and aquaculture now provides more than half of the world's fish supplies from human consumption, especially some countries in the world that depend on fish for their economy, which is the main food for all the population. Automated analysis and follow-up of the environment of fish forms artificial intelligence. To weigh to the importance and novelty of research aimed at protecting fish farms from sudden death through early detection of fish diseases and following up and analyzing fish movement in ponds, we have implemented some steps to make the system send a signal through the mobile application or web application to notify those of concern about changes and environmental condition of the farm that may threaten the safety of the fish farm. Iran, also called Persia and officially the Islamic Republic of Iran, is a country in Western Asia. It's bordered to the northwest by Armenia and Azerbaijan, to the north by the Caspian Sea, to the east by Afghanistan, to the southern east by Pakistan, to the south by the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, and to the west by Turkey and Iraq. Tehran is the capital and the largest city, as well as the leading economic and cultural hub. As we know, artificial intelligence has enabled tremendous advances in monitoring. It's a great plus than any other available method. Discovering our marine life diseases, analyzing marine fish movement of or marine life in their general, in order to protect them from any damage, detecting any abnormal behavior in the farm environment, make periodic photos of marine life and the fish, especially to detect diseases, expecting monthly fish production. Artificial neural network and artificial intelligence are suitable for any kind of planet organism in fisheries or ponds spotted with curved fins, notches, or other unique physical characteristics. The number of manually annotated images depend on the species present in the fishery. Artificial intelligence is used to collect images of specific types from the general fisheries website, and then the AI begins to search for those images through what has been previously photographed and give data about their health and movement. Is the fish movement healthy or not? If it is not sound, the AI sounds all the data. The fish movement is not sound to the employee in charge of the personal phone and also gives and prints a report at the same time about the health status of the fisheries. Also, new photos can be added in order for the reports to be sound and complete until the employee in charge of the fisheries attends to be automatically identified. Technology is being used to take advantage of chain of text. AI software to find answers to questions related to the science of conservation of aquatic organisms, especially aquatic fish. Most recent results in AI use open source machine learning libraries. Accordingly, the aquatic organisms were identified and analyzed, their movement and follow-up were identified, their sounds were determined, and the fish sounds were differentiated according to their species, and the sound of the aquatic organism must be recognized. Therefore, we developed algorithm in the search to determine whether the sound clips contain aquatic cries or not, and the testing of this algorithm. AI software may be more likely to make mistakes compared to trained humans. Therefore, the results are validated by taking a small sample and testing the model on data from another research project or different countries to ensure that the model generalized the results as expected. And this is done in the investigation by comparing it with other models before giving any output data. Validated verification of the accuracy of the results of the AI program and extensive testing for the purpose of comparing program results and analyzing obtained with the field observation. The artificial intelligence program monitored previous events from several previous reports that humans have seen and heard, and then a data analyst within the Python program would rule out false positive results. In order to estimate the actual expectation rate of fish projection quantities by artificial intelligence. In order to train artificial intelligence methods, it is required to provide historical labeled data. However, when a farmer aims to set up a new aquaculture firm, historical farming data is not available for that location. So that we provided a guideline to utilize neural artificial networks models trained for a different location to a new location based on similarity between the two locations. In our area in Iran, results show that model relocated can significantly reduce the shortcoming generated from data unavailability for a particular location. The biological neuron information comes into the neuron via dendrite. Soma processes the information and passes it on via axon. In case of artificial neuron, the information comes into the body of an artificial neuron via inputs that are weighted. Each input can be individually multiplied with a weight. The body of an artificial neuron then sums the weighted inputs bias and processes the sum with the transfer function. At the end, an artificial neuron passes the processed information via outputs. As we explained before, the body of an artificial neuron then sums the weighted inputs bias and processes the sum with a transfer function. At the end, an artificial neuron passes the processed information via outputs. In this paper, we have presented a review of artificial intelligence methods in the aquaculture space. In future, we aim to extend some of these methods in time series machine learning methods. And we provided an extensive review of aquaculture research applying deep learning in terms of fish and water quality and others. We further discussed the advantages, limitation, and the future trends and challenges of deep learning in aquaculture. We found that AI offered better performance than traditional methods and image processing techniques in most areas of aquaculture. So, dear colleagues, I hope that our communication was not boring, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you for your attention and have a good time.
Thank you, Dr. Fatima, for your astounding talk. Now I feel delightful to invite our fourth keynote speaker, Dr. Patricio DL Rios Escalante, Department of Biological Sciences, Faculty of Natural Resources, University of Católica, Temuco, Chile. And he will talk about intertidal decapods on rocky shores of Atacama Desert, Antofagasta, north of Chile. Please, Dr. Patricio, join us and share your worthy insights.
Hi, it is the presentation Intertidal Decapod in rocky shores of the Atacama Desert in 23 degrees 50 minutes south Antofagasta, north of Chile, by the authors Patricio de los Rios Escalante, Fatima Mckees, and Jalil Surriaxara. As introduction, the marine diversity in coastal north and central Chile is characterized by its high diversity, because the coast has the influence of Humboldt cold stream that has south to north direction. Also, this coastal ecosystem has frequently upwelling process that enhance the high productivity and diversity of determined bays. The coast of the north of Chile has also overexploitation of fisheries resources that can affect the species associated, such as happened in Antofagasta Bay, when it has had an extraction of Pura preputialis in intertidal rocky shores that cause low diversity in marine invertebrates. The aim of present studies was analyze the intertidal decapod crustacean species in diversity in different sites of rocky shores in Antofagasta Bay in the north of Chile. As material and method, the study site was in Antofagasta Bay, that is located approximately at 23 grade 47 minutes south latitude. The sample sites corresponding to different small bays called playas, beach, or caletas, located in the homonymous town. The sites sampled in the town were Jardines del Norte, Las Almejas, and Playa Blanca, and it was sampled the site El Lenguado, that is a non-altered site at the south of Antofagasta town. You can see the study sites. In the upper figure or picture, you can see a map of continental Chilean territory in gray, and amplified the maps of Antofagasta Bay with the 5 different study sites. You can see that Trocadero, Las Almejas, and Playa Blanca Beach are located within Antofagasta town, whereas El Lenguado, 1 and Lenguado 2 are located out of Antofagasta town at south, approximately 20 kilometers south of Antofagasta, and this zone has practically null human intervention. Well, for each site was sampled quadrants of 10 by 10 centimeters, specifically 90 quadrants under rounded rocks and pebbles. Crustacean specimens were counted and identified in according to literature descriptions. It was used small quadrants considering that studied sites have studied species have fast movement and they run very fast, and in this surface it is possible collect representative data in a non-destructive sample procedure. Well, data of surface temperature was obtained from Chilean Navy, specifically the Oceanographical and Hydrological Service of Chilean Navy. Site samples were visited in December 2018, February 2019, September 2019, December 2019, and February 2020. For studied cities was applied a regression analysis considering the species richness and temperature using R software. Well, in both photographs, you can see the natural habitats of two studied species, specifically Petrolistes tuberculosus at right and Allopetrolistes punctatus at left. See the yellow frames. Within the yellow frames is located both species. Well, for all sites, it was applied a occurrence species null model for then determines if the species association are random, uses model fixed, fixed proportional, and fixed equiprobable. This analysis were applied using the software R and the package EcoSim R. Also, for all studies, for all sites, it was applied a niche sharing null models for determining the existence of niche sharing and, in consequence, the specific competence using the Piagenka index. This analysis were applied using the software R and the package EcoSim R. Finally, it was compared the species number for human-altered and non-altered sites using the student test and previously verification of normal distribution using software R. The exposure results revealed the existence of sites with high species richness. The maximum value was observed for Lenguado 1 in September 2019 with 6 species, Playa Blanca in September 2019 with 5 species, and Lenguado 2 with 5 species for September 2019, whereas the lowest species number was observed for Lenguado 1 in December 2019 with 1 species, Playa Blanca, Lenguado 1, and Lenguado 2 for February 2020 with 1 species. The most frequent species were Cyclorhabsus cinereus, Petrolistes granulosus, and Petrolistes violaceus. In these photographs, you can see the 3 main species reported in the present studies. Well, in these photographs, you can see the another species reported in the present study. Well, in this table, you can see the result of abundance of different decapod species in the studied sites. You can see that the low values were observed was observed in the last samples of February 2020, whereas the last year was observed high species richness value. In this table and graph, you can see the inverse association between temperature and species number. In this table, you can see that the null model species association revealed that the species association are random. This means that the species association has not unstructured patterns, whereas the null model of niche sharing indicate that the reported species do not share niche, ecological niche, and this means that there is not interspecific competence. This table denotes the result of the student test between non-altered and shown sites, and you can see that there is not significant difference between two kinds of sites. The exposed result revealed that sites without human intervention, specifically El Lenguado 1 and El Lenguado 2, would have more species richness in comparison to sites with human intervention, the remaining site of Antofagasta town, in example. This would be supported by the overexploitation of Pura preputialis, that is a natural shelter for sustained high marine invertebrate species richness. In discussion, the result obtained was species co-occurrence null models that revealed random in species association or non-structured patterns. In according to literature, is possible can be relatively environmental heterogeneity that will not occur in the present studies because the site will have environmental heterogeneity. The another cause of random in species association can be that many species are repeated in all or many of studied sites. That is a possible cause of the result obtained in the present studies. Similar pattern was reported in this model for inland water and marine ecosystems in Chile. In the same discussion, nevertheless, the result of net sharing revealed that the species reported do not have the same ecological niche, and in consequence, it will have not interspecific competence. Although the ecological studies revealed that the reported species will have the same ecological niche, and in consequence will have interspecific competence, the obtained results will indicate that under environmental heterogeneity, it will have environmental force that generates a specific niche that will explain the obtained results. The results about the cloud species reported for rocky shores agree with literature descriptions, such as the description of Xylorhabsus cinereus and Petrolistes granulosus for central Chile rocky shores at the beginning of 1970 decade, and other studies that were done the last 2 decades mainly for central and north of Chile. This antecedent will support the result of co-occurrent neural models obtained in the present study. Other important component that will support the exposed result will be the ENSO, or El Niño Southern Oscillation phenomenon. This means that surface temperature increase generated low species number and abundance in the coast that affect markedly the coast of the north of Chile and south of Peru. This result will agree with historical observation for ENSO phenomenon, specifically in 1991 and 1998. On the basis of the exposed result, it will be interesting to integrate the invertebrate abundance data with the fisheries statistics, specifically rocky littoral fishes that predate on small decapods, such as was described in the present study. Thank you for your attention. This project was financed by Project Mesesub UCT 0804, and it recognizes the ME and SMA for their valuable comments and suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Patricio, for such an amazing talk. Now, the plenary session has ended, and I am thankful to all the keynote speakers on the behalf of the organizing committee of the Applied Zoological Society of Pakistan. We all have been listening to renowned keynote speakers deliberating in various areas of biological sciences. All these constructive intuitions gave us a new perspective that one should adopt while discussing the scientific aspects. Now we will have our first oral presentation session at 9 o'clock, which will include talks from the fields of drug discovery, bioinformatics, and nanotechnology. Thank you for your participation. Stay tuned with us.